management, and it's been super affordable. So if you're looking for a website out there, make sure you hit up Perry Hartman or look up Painter's Dream Production on social media or paintersdream.com. He can help you with everything, T-shirts, CDs, if you're still looking for that sort of thing. But really for us, the biggest thing is the website, having access. You know what I'm saying? And he gives you that access at a great rate. And he's never left us. Like, he's never been like, all right, you guys, your website is set up. Good luck. He's always been with us every step of the way, man. So I wanted to make sure to give Perry a mega huge super duper shout out. And I'm so happy that he loved his mug because we were happy to be able to gift that to him, Jonesy. But you know what, bro? I want to go ahead and pick up the energy even more. So let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do what we always do about this time, where we ask everybody to respectfully remove their caps, place their hands over their hearts as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth, and that's America, damn it.
Oh, say, can you see and the rocket red flag? Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. For the land of the free.
Man, that brings a tear to my eye every single time, man. I haven't heard that for a while, and it gets me all emotional, man.
Well, you know what, bro? I missed you too. And I'm glad that we've got our sound up and running now. Sorry about the initial issues on Facebook Live, guys. This stream is going to stay until the end of the show, so please share. This is the good stream. Give us some good mojo so we can keep the good vibes going. Because, man, having that quality, that audio that you guys are needing in order to enjoy this broadcast, it is back to 100%, man. I'm super proud of that. Well, Jonesy, before we move on to the high spot segment, let me just take a quick moment also to thank Drake Lee, Jeremy Karp, Luke Roberts, you, Joe, and, of course, Hardcore Haas, our audio engineer. Dude, it's really started to come together as a team, man. We're really grateful for those guys, and we expect great things, not only for the rest of this year in December, but, man, next year is going to be bananas. We're going to try to continue to take the level up when it comes to quality, right? Everything you guys see and everything you guys hear. Thanks to this little thing that I've got on my shirt, if you end up listening to us on the replay, like via Blog Talk or maybe even like Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, the quality on my end should be significantly better. And I noticed that it wasn't as good as like Joe's, for example. So because Joe's able to call in Skype and use his microphone, and it usually comes through pretty clearly. So I decided to take some of that Wrestle Talk podcast money and from the mugs and reinvest it back into the show. And here we are. So hopefully you guys can hear it and see it and feel it. Because Wrestle Talk, we've always had great content. We've just had this long mountain to climb, right, Joe, when it comes to like the quality, because this stuff is expensive and it takes time to learn it and how to incorporate it and to put all the pieces together. Anybody who understands anything about technology, you know it's not usually a one step, right? Like you kind of build it over time. And it's thanks to you guys and your guys' support by buying those mugs and our sponsors like Kincaid, I-70 Sports Media, Royal Mills Transportation, Esports Bar KC. You see us advertising them every single week. You do. You really, really do. So shout out to all those people and, of course, all of our new hosts as well. Before we get into high spots, I wanted to give another special shout out. Joe, I know I got a lot of shout outs, bro, but this is important. So I wanted to give a special shout out to the Cody Coop Show. And here it is. Here's why we're going to give him a shout out. One, I was recently on the show and we're getting ready to do the part two, but I've been teasing you guys on how you can get your hands on this autographed picture of Zack Ryder. Okay, this was gifted to us by the Cody Coop Show, and we're going to give it away to you guys either today or next week. We want you to help us figure out how we can do it. I know I've given some suggestions before, Joe, but I would really love to be able to give this away tonight. Absolutely 100% free. You don't have to pay for the shipping or anything. We will send it out directly to you. We just have to figure out how we're going to get this out to you guys, okay? So let us know what ideas that you have. of how we could go about giving this thing away, but I can tell you for sure that it's taking up space in my drawer here, and I would love to keep it for myself, but I was told by Cody Coop himself, hey, this is for you to do whatever you want. And I said, well, I'm not going to keep it for myself, even though I could, right? But no, I want to thank you guys. And we want to thank you guys for showing the support that you support us. And Joe, don't even think about it. If I can't get it, that means you can't have it either, okay? I already know how your mind works.
I was just about to ask, that if you just wanted to give it to somebody, like, you could just give it to me. Like, I mean, Nightmare Jones. Just give it to Nightmare Jones. Jeez.
Okay, I'm waiting for Hoss now because I'm sure he's got something after that ridiculous statement. Hoss, please do me a favor and hit this man with a drop. Hoss.
Fucking bullshit!
Ah, there it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Patience pays off, buddy. All right, guys, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and hit a little bit of music as we get into this week's edition, episode 322. That's right, 322, the High Spot segment, amigos. Hoss, hit that music!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the High Spot segment, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kick it off. And I got to say, Renee, poor Otis. This man went from having a smoking hot woman, having a great tag team partner, having the Money in the Bank briefcase, to losing his woman, losing his tag team partner turned on him. He lost his Money in the Bank briefcase, and last Friday, he got the crap beat out of him by Jey Uso. What the hell did Otis do to piss off WWE? Like, that is my question. What did this man do to piss off the WWE when he was riding so high, and now he's just, like, wasn't even able to get to the freaking ring? What the hell did Otis do, Renee? What did he do?
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened, bro. He is going to have to climb the proverbial ladder, bro. They kind of gave you a little bit of a taste of it, then boom, it dropped right back down. Hopefully, what they're going to try to do is build him right back up again, but kind of do it the old-fashioned way where it takes him months, maybe even a year or two to really get that payoff. Now, let's hope they don't give him the Kofi Kingston trajectory where he's got to wait all that much time. But what I will tell you, bro, is that if they're able to build him back up properly, it's going to be incredibly special to watch him eventually become WWE champion. My concern is, though, if you see who they have as champions now, they want guys that look like real warriors. Guys that you would take seriously if you ran into them in the street. Not that you wouldn't take Otis seriously. His persona doesn't lend itself to that, though. So are they willing to put the belt on somebody like that? Or is Otis going to end up falling into that zone where maybe he hits the IC belt once or twice, but for the most part he ends up competing for the old 24/7 championship?
Now my future's crashing down on me.
What's it?
I have no idea. I thought we were being cut off by Drake Lee or Jeremy Carr. Please tell me that's not the case.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I got this smile on my face because the music hit, and I was like, finally, I'm gonna have somebody, with that is gonna be amazing for the podcast. And then, it was the Night Owl again, and not Drake Lee. I mean, where is Drake Lee? Why can't we have Drake Lee with us tonight?
Well, Drake Lee is very adamant about sticking to the guidelines of his contract, and his contract says that he's only meant to be here a certain amount of times a month, and if we want him to be here any longer, we're gonna have to quadruple his salary. And let's just be honest. I mean, we sell a lot of mugs, but we don't sell enough mugs to pay 4 times Drake Lee's salary. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be modest in our expenditures, and we can't spend it all so that Drake Lee can buy hair gel and, I don't know, whatever the hell he is, like go get manicures or whatever rich people like him do. No thanks, bro. But but anyway, yes, bro, I do believe that Otis can and should deserve an opportunity to eventually climb back up, but I don't know if I would necessarily trust WWE to be able to pull that off for him over the long haul. I think it's a long road back, and there's way too many pitfalls that could potentially happen before we see the man back in any sort of main event type of picture, Jonesy. And let's be real here. Let's be extremely real here. Many people love Otis, but wouldn't take him seriously enough to want to see him as a heavyweight champion. And that's just the truth, and I'm guessing that's kind of where Vince McMahon is coming from.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, like I mean, I like Otis, but like you said, I don't see him as like championship material. And I gotta say, since the Miz got that Money in the Bank briefcase, he has done a heck of a lot more with it than what Otis did with it. I'm actually enjoying the Miz with this briefcase. Do you see any point of when the Miz is going to cash in? I think he's going to cash in before WrestleMania. Before WrestleMania, Miz will be the WWE champion. That's just my prediction.
Well, I saw that you made a post about that, Jones, and honestly, I think that putting the belt on Miz right now is counterproductive. I really, really think that it's going to hurt in the long run. Because Drew McIntyre is not a spring chicken. And Roman Reigns is now into his 30s. So are you going to, even if it's 6 months or 4 months that Miz has the belt, unless you're going to give it to him and then take it away, kind of like what you did with Randy Orton, I don't see any point in allowing him to become the champion, other than you're just trying to stack Miz's credentials so that when Hall of Fame time rolls around, that he's going to go in. Or you're thinking monetarily, almost exclusively monetarily, and you're saying, well, if we put the belt on Miz, then this is going to help Miz and Mrs., right? So I don't know, bro. WWE's been known to do suspect stuff like this to try to, kind of benefit themselves in those sorts of ways. But just from a pure wrestling standpoint, as much as I love Miz as a heel, I do not think that it would make sense for him to become WWE champion. I hope he has a fun time trying to cash it in. I hope it's suspenseful, but do I want him to actually become the champ? Am I predicting, like you are, that he's going to become the champ? No, I would honestly bet against it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would. Let me change subjects on you though, Jonesy. Okay, because we're gonna make most of our time here tonight. Okay, so let me see here. I had a couple of things I wanted to bring up. Okay, so let's try this. Dolph Ziggler. You know Dolph Ziggler, right, Jonesy? Former multi-time Intercontinental Champion, one-time World Heavyweight Champion. And I think he was tag team champions with Bobby Roode here not too long ago. I want to read you a statement from a podcast that he was on, and I want to get your thoughts on it, okay? So here it is. It says, during the most recent episode of Talking Smack, Dolph Ziggler made an interesting comment regarding his thoughts on pro wrestling. He said, money first. Make sure you show up and get paid, and then show everyone why you get paid more than everyone else, who may or may not be in the building at the time. SmackDown. I don't watch wrestling. I'm not a big fan. I come to work to kick ass and win. So, how do you interpret those comments, Joe? Because some people, as you would imagine, are going to take that the wrong way. They are not going to be too pleased. They are not going to be too pleased because he says he doesn't like wrestling. And you know how easily things get taken out of context these days. I don't necessarily like his wording, but I get what he's saying. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the way that I kind of see it is he's basically saying that he comes in, he does his job, and he goes home. Like that's pretty much what he does. Like he's not a fan of professional wrestling. He does it because it's his job. It's like I work at Cheese, but I don't eat the food at Cheese because I cook the food so much that I don't want to eat the food at Cheese because I cook it all day long. So the last thing I want to do, like when I get off work or something, is eat cheese. So it's kind of like he's a wrestler and he spends all of his time wrestling. So the last thing that he really wants to do is watch professional wrestling. Like that's kind of it. I got it. I don't know what you got out of it.
Bro, I think you just said it perfectly. I honestly think you just said it perfectly. Bro, everyone that I know loves pizza. But when you work at a pizza place, you don't want to eat pizza all the time. You want to have something else. I've worked at some great restaurants. Early in my career, I was like a busboy, a waiter, prep guy, dishwasher. I did all sorts of jobs. And listen, I was always grateful to work at a restaurant because there was always food. But if you would have given me the choice, okay, if you give me the choice, I'm not going to eat that same food all the time. So that's what I meant by I understood where Dolph Ziggler was coming from. I just think his wording, you know how it is these days, especially in 2020, it's take everyone out of context theater. And I think that's exactly what's happened here. I think people have taken that small phrase, I don't like wrestling, and completely, not necessarily distorted it, because I think he meant to be a little bit controversial, but they're taking it to heart way too much. I think people just need to relax. The guy's dedicated almost 20 years of his life to the sport, first in college at Kent State, winning national championship, I believe, and then, the last 15 years in professional wrestling as we know him as Dolph Ziggler in WWE. So, listen, people say crazy stuff. You got to look at what they do. And Dolph Ziggler's been one of the hardest working guys in the business for a long time. I think he's well respected all the way around. And so I'm not going to take this little thing and pass this incredible amount of judgment on him, Joe. I just don't think that's very fair. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if I looked at a place that I could make toasted ravioli, I would totally eat those like every single day.
Joe, after a while, it's going to be the same thing, though. After a while, you're going to run into the exact same problem.
Not just toasted raviolis, but what was it that Luke Roberts brought to us when we were at NatuCon? It was kind of like a cannoli, sort of.
Yeah. Oh, you talking about the cream horns? The cream horns that that Skywalker Roberts got for us, bro? Those are fire.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Hey, next time that we go to St. Louis, we're gonna get together with your favorite wrestlers, Rick Maverick, Volatok Curtis Wild, and Ozzy. And well, you're gonna get together with them, and then I'm gonna get together with Skywalker, with Drake Lee, with Big Sexy Chris Rodell, and of course with the Maestro Jeremy Carp. Is that sound like a plan? No.
Now, as well as I do that Drake Lee will be with me and Rick Maverick and Ozzy Gallagher.
You think Drake Lee would be caught dead anywhere with you guys? You guys are a circus on wheels? Are you kidding me?
Well, yes, because us together we would be like the inner circle, and that's exactly where Drake Lee would be
the
like
inner circle. You got it. You just compared yourself to the inner circle. Okay, so who's Jericho in this ensemble of merry men?
Obviously, Jericho would be the seasoned veteran, and that would be Rick Maverick. Obviously.
What? Ah! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm not buying this for 1 second at all. 1 second at all, Jonesy. Well, listen, I got one other thing for high spots that I want to touch on. Let me go through my notes here really quickly so I don't screw up the details. But I definitely had one other thing that I wanted to bring up. Joe, I know you didn't write it down for me, did you? You wouldn't be that nice. Oh, yes, that's right. So my next high spot topic is I wanted to. That's right. There you go. My next high spots topic, I actually wanted to make a recommendation. That's right. I wanted to make a recommendation for the fans, for the listeners of the Wrestle Talk podcast. And listen, I have to admit that I haven't been completely honest with the listeners. I know, please don't hate me. I bragged about MLW and some of the things that they were doing. I was engaged initially for a month or so, and then I kind of just got busy with other things. Well, I recently got back into it, bro, and I saw MLW Fusion 110, which is 100% free on YouTube. 100% free, okay? Bro, let me tell you, mamma mia, these guys are doing something extraordinary. They are truly, really making sure that it feels like, you know, like those independent promotions in your area, Joe, that just know how to do it the right way. You get what I'm saying? There's all sorts of levels, right, to independent wrestling, right? And then there are some promotions that are just great at it. That's what MLW feels like, and it looks like they've got a fairly decent budget to do it. Man, I'm very impressed. And then when you look at the lineup of talent, you got Davey Boy Smith Jr., the British Bulldog's son. You've got Brian Pillman Jr. You've got Hot Fire, the leader of Injustice, Myron Reed. You got Alexander Hammerstone, which, when you talk about a prototype guy for professional wrestling in 2020, a bigger guy in 2020, I don't think anybody fits the bill better than Alexander Hammerstone. And then, bro, Jacob Fatu. This dude is like if you took a gangster right out of Compton and you worked him out and you made him a fantastic wrestler, bro. You know, he reminds me of one of his relatives. You'll have to remind me his name, Joe. Not Rikishi, but Rikishi's brother. I think it was Umaga. I think that's who I'm thinking. Dude, he's like...
Rikishi's brother, I think, was
it
Samu. Samu and Fatu.
Samu and Fatu? Okay, well, I think I'm thinking of Umaga. That's who I'm thinking of. I thought that was his brother. Am I wrong? Is that not his brother? I thought that was his brother.
Let me go and check for
Maybe.
you.
While you check that, let me continue. Bro, MLW Fusion 110. Give this show a shot, guys. That's all I'm saying. That's my hotspot for today. We talk a lot of WWE. We discuss a lot of different things on this show, brother. But the truth of the matter is that these guys put on such a spectacular show, bro, that I'm thinking about going backwards and getting caught up. Dude, the faction Contra that Jacob Fatu is that he's the leader of is like everything that you want a faction to be. They're credible, they're badass, they cut awesome promos, they wrestle their asses off. I mean, it's truly spectacular, bro, what these guys do. It's very, very impressive, and I'm going to be sincere with you. I want everybody to check out MLW. It's not going to cost you a dime, okay? So don't be like, oh, Night Owl, I've already got too many subscriptions, blah, blah, blah. No, dude, listen, it's great. It's really great.
You are correct. Umaga is the brother of Rikishi. So he was the uncle of the Usos. So you were wrong.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I watched the documentary, which I know there's a new one on Liv Morgan right now, and I know you want to talk about The Undertaker as well, because we can't leave that one alone, right? I remember the special they did on the Usos. I think it's like 24 Hours to Houston or whatever the hell it's called. Dude, they talked about what a huge influence Umaga was, even more so than their own dad, of them becoming professional wrestlers. When they decided to leave football and They stopped working at they were working at some furniture store or something like that, being movers. When they decided that they were going to go to wrestle, they didn't go train with their dad at first, bro. They went to train with Umaga. And Umaga was the one that kind of really helped their career take off. And then eventually they spent some time with Booker T in Houston and their dad. And then the rest is history. Obviously, the Usos, Jey Uso recently competing for the WWE Championship, which I think was pretty damn impressive, and I did a kick-ass job. But yeah, MLW Fusion episode 110. It's completely free, and if for no other reason, go and support former guests Brian Pillman Jr. and Selena De La Renta. Those two speak for themselves. Just Google them. That's all I gotta say. Just especially De La Renta. But Joe, let's go ahead and hit the next. Let's go ahead and hit the next. Hold on. Let's go ahead and hit the next high spot because I do have a little bit of a programming update that I'm just finding out about right now for all the members of the Wrestle Talk family. But go ahead, Jonesy.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of Selena De La Renta, I was doing a Facebook Live the other. I was watching it, and she was doing a autograph signing. They've been doing like live autograph signings, and she remembered us, bro. She remembered us from the podcast.
Yes, that's what we like. We like to leave a positive impression on the listeners and the guests, right, Joe?
Yeah, exactly, dude. I am not lying. If WWE was smart, they would pick her up as what the hell's his name? Why can't I think of this guy's name?
Give me an example.
Charlotte Flair's boyfriend.
Andrade.
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 He would be the perfect manager for Andrade. Like, she is just that good as a heel manager. Like, I don't know why they haven't picked her up yet. I really don't.
I'll be honest with you, bro. Maybe financially it would be better for Selena De La Renta. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. Because I know, as a matter of fact, she makes a killing with like autographs, pictures, calendars, and things of that nature. Because I know she talked to us about some of the ways that she makes money outside of just her bookings, right? And I also believe, as great as she is, I'm afraid that they would screw with perfection. Because right now, bro, she's in a constant rivalry with Conan. And you want to talk about a legendary Latino in the world of pro wrestling? I mean, who are they really? I don't know, bro. I just WWE has really made me hesitate when it comes to managers from other promotions, because typically when they come from other places, they just don't know what to do with them. Who was the little guy that was like the general manager of 205 Live, and then he kind of got fired? Drake Maverick or whatever. Yeah, like
Maverick.
Yeah. He's great as a manager, what have you, and he's got some talent to be able to work in the ring, just my opinion as a fan. But, I mean, you know, other than a couple of sparks, I mean, what did they really do with the guy? Everyone was excited when he showed up, but what do they really know how to do with with talented managers there? I think they're doing a tremendous job. And in MLW, bro, she's a star. She is one of the stars there. Would we be able to see that carry over to the WWE? I have my questions. I really do. And I think they question themselves, because if they didn't, Jonesy, then the Undisputed Era would already be on the main roster. But I think even they have apprehension about their ability to keep and sustain momentum when they bring people either from the outside in or from within upward. You get me? You can tell that they themselves have doubt, in my opinion. At least that's what it feels like. So, anywho, Jonesy, let me jump into something that's going to be very, very important. I'm going to ask our audio engineer, Hardcore Hoss, to hit the breaking news, because I've got some big news about tonight's show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news tonight, and it is unfortunate breaking news. Due to some technical difficulties on our side, not Nightmare and not Ken's side, but our side, those two guests that were scheduled to appear tonight unfortunately will not be able to join us. But here's the exciting part. Because of the technical issues and because our guests are so tremendous, we're actually going to go ahead and take a crack at it again tomorrow at the exact same time at 7 p.m. Central Time. And what we're going to try to do is fit them both into about a 1 hour show instead of your typical 2 hour show. So what's going to be awesome is you guys are still going to get your 2 hours of live Wrestle Talk, but it'll just be 1 hour today and 1 hour tomorrow. I was talking to a friend recently about the challenges of doing these shows live. These are the sorts of things that happen. And let me tell you, I was ready to go for 2 hours plus because it's been so long since Joe and I have done a show together. So I know Joe will be here tomorrow for sure. I know Haas will be here tomorrow for sure. And the guests will be tomorrow for sure. I just need to make sure that I'm available based on my personal schedule to be here as well. But I'm going to do everything in my power so that we can run it back. Because let me tell you something, I personally was very much looking forward to speaking to the Sicilian Beast and Nightmare. But again, due to our technical errors, we're not going to be able to see the guests tonight. But let me tell you what, we are going to continue the show until the end of the hour. So we're going to give you at least 1 full hour today of just general content where you guys can call in, okay? And we can talk all things wrestling. So we're going to extend high spots. And then tomorrow we're going to get right into the interviews right when we kick off the show. And we'll be able to give each guest a solid 30 to 35 minutes of time on the air, or 25 to 30 minutes on the air tomorrow because they deserve it. They cut out their schedule. We made the posters. We made all the preparations. But again, when you do live radio like this, like we attempt to do every week for you or a few times a month for you here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, and sometimes these issues happen, but we always make it up to you guys. And I'll tell you what, we're still going to be giving away this Zack Ryder autographed picture that was donated to us by the Cody Coop Show. So with that said, Joe, we still got a solid 20 minutes of content to provide the listeners of the Wrestle Talk family. What else are we talking about tonight? Because I'm fired up about MLW, and I know you've got some more high spots that you want to drop on us.
I do. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, of course, everybody knows at Survivor Series, The Undertaker did his farewell speech. And, I thought that it was amazing. They had a lot of people that from The Undertaker's past come down to the ring. Vince McMahon came down to the ring. The Undertaker came down. He did his speech. They did a really awesome thing with Paul Bearer. The thing that pissed me off is after it was done, the fans were still complaining about it. Said that it was boring, that it was a waste of time. And it just goes to show you that the fans will never be happy. They'll always come up with something that they don't like. They're always going to complain about it. And it's bullcrap. I thought it was absolutely amazing. For the last time to see The Undertaker, give his farewell speech, and the fans can't be happy for it. They have to crap all over it. It's just, it irks my nose.
Joe, this feels like a shoot and shout. Why does it feel like a shoot and shout? So what's your question then? Are you just venting to me, or do you want to know how I feel about it? Because it sounds like you're just bitching and moaning.
But I guess that what I'm asking you is, what did you think about The Undertaker's farewell at Survivor Series and the fans crapping on it just to crap on it? That's my question.
Well, listen, bro. That's always going to be a tough subject. Hold on. I had to send that quick message there. That's always going to be tough, bro, because let me tell you something. It was very bittersweet. It was very, very bittersweet, and I'll tell you why. I know that maybe like his contract was expiring and they kind of had to do it now, and maybe he was just ready. He didn't want to keep belaboring the point. I'm not sure exactly what went into the timing of it. And here's the saddest part of all, Jonesy. Even if we would have waited and made it more spectacular where the fans were actually there, which I think is a lot of people's gripe after 30 years, you send the man off in an empty arena. And I understand that gripe. I think it's a legitimate one. We don't know when this is going to be over. If we could say, man, just hold off till Mania. He had the streak at Mania. Yeah, it wasn't when he debuted, but people don't necessarily associate The Undertaker with Survivor Series. Yes, that's when he made his debut. But when you think Undertaker and pay-per-views, Jonesy, what do you think of?
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania. So if we could have some sort of assurance that that come WrestleMania in 2021 that things are going to be back to normal, and we're going to have stadiums and arenas full of people, then you hold off. But honestly, we don't know that. We don't know that. And so for what it was, I think they did an outstanding job, Jonesy. But you're always going to have people, which is why we've heard you do the shoot and shout on this in more than one occasion, where you think the fans overreact and they disrespect and they're not patient and they're ungrateful. I know you've done your shoot and shot about that several times. This is more of the same.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody, right? The only thing that pleases everybody is greenbacks or gold coins. That's one thing that everyone can agree on. Otherwise, there's going to be dissension. And unfortunately, that small group of wrestling fans that is always discontent, they're a small group, but they're a very loud group and a very persistent group.
Yeah.
And they're going to be heard one way or another. And if they trigger you in the process, let me tell you, bro, they're happy about it. They're glad that we're talking about it right now. Because those trolls, bro, that's what they feed off of. Pissing people off.
Yeah.
And guess what, Jonesy? They gotcha.
I hear you. I definitely hear you. And if you listen to the Undertaker's interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin, which if you haven't, you should definitely do that. He talks about his match at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, and you know he says himself that it was a bad match, and that literally should have been his last match. His match against Roman Reigns should have been his last match. He totally agreed with that. You know, he had to have shots just to have the match, and you know he totally agrees that should have been his last match. Do you think that match with Roman Reigns should have been his last match when he left the ring?
No. No, see, I don't. I don't, Joe, because, you know, at least back then, when there were still fans and stuff like that, you got to stop and think. Like, is that really the last memory that you want of The Undertaker, him having potentially his worst match ever? You had to let him run it back somehow, bro. And you know what? I think he redeemed himself. Like when he came back and had the following year that he had that next match, who did he fight that following year? Remind me.
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles. They put him in there with someone. They put him in there with someone that's almost guaranteed to make him look great. And I don't think you could have picked anybody better than AJ Styles. So he had to run it back to kind of try to make up for the one before. But it was a little tough because you had the symbolism of the hat and the coat and maybe even the boots, or maybe it was just the hat and the coat that were left in the middle of the ring. So from that perspective, yeah, maybe you could have kind of seen him right off into the sunset. But you know WWE is always going to do like the 6 months retirement tour. They're going to milk it and sell as much merchandise as they possibly can. Yeah. So you knew that even if they would have ended his in-ring deal back then, you're still going to see him some way, somehow, on some level while he did his retirement tour. And he got that leading into Survivor Series. Because, again, going back to the business side of it, Joe, they got to capitalize monetarily. And I believe that you claimed yourself one of those championship belts, right? They only made like 1,000 of them or whatever it was. Didn't you end up purchasing one of those?
I did, and then they ended up coming out with another Undertaker belt, and I'm like, daggone you people. Like, I don't have that kind of money to buy another one of them belts. Man. But yes, I do have a Undertaker belt, and it is my one of my favorite belts of all time. It is an absolutely amazing belt.
No doubt about it, bro. I know it's been a while, and I'm not even sure if you posted it to the Wrestle Talk page. Maybe if you get a chance, you can put that up over at Wrestle Talk Podcast on our Facebook page, and maybe even send me the picture. I'll get it up on Instagram and everything. Bro, it would be dope because I think there's a certain segment of the fans that may not even know about it. Honestly, I think there's a certain segment of the fans that may not even know about this special release Undertaker belt. And since it is still kind of Undertaker season, I think it would be cool to watch you post that. I really do.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I can definitely try to do that. Hardcore Hush, could you hit the breaking news? Because I have some breaking news. New York mayor and current spokesman for the outgoing Trump administration, Rudy Giuliani, has been rushed to a local medical facility after being stricken by the dreaded curse of the WWE voodoo priest, Craig Papa Shango. At a bizarre press conference held this morning outside the Ritz-Carlton Septic Pumpers, a black slime oozed from Giuliani's receded hairline before the lure began to speak in tongues, babbling nonsense about election fraud. There you go. That's why Rudy Giuliani had all that makeup going down his face, because he got struck with Papa Shango's curse.
Joe, what the hell, bro? Bro, let me guess. Did you pull that? Did you pull that from kayfabenews.com, bro?
Absolutely. You know that's where I get all of my news sources from. Kayfabe News.
Oh my gosh, bro. Dude, that is freaking crazy. Papa Shango, huh? That's why former Mayor Rudy Giuliani ended up in the hospital. Where do you get that? Well, I mean, I know where you get this crap from, but dude, that's insane. Joe, you're out of your freaking mind. That's good shit right there. I'm digging it. Listen, Joe, I want to jump into one other thing here with the few minutes that we have left. And again, we're coming back later this week, guys, for our interviews. And I want to make sure I pronounce these names right, so I'm a little embarrassed. So let me see here. I'll make sure I say the gentleman's name properly. Ken Cerminara, Sicily's own, and of course our old buddy, longtime member of the Wrestle Talk family, Nightmare. Not Nightmare Jones, the pro wrestler Nightmare, who's doing big things with Father Craven and all that. You guys remember him from the last interview. But anywho, later this week, we're going to come back with another full hour of the Wrestle Talk podcast, and we're going to have both interviews within that 1 hour time span. So you're still going to get your 2 hours this week. I promised you guys it would happen, and we're going to make sure that it happens. Let me jump in again to one other last bit of news, Jonesy, and I want to know what you think about it. I didn't hear Drake and Jeremy get into this during the High Spot segment last week, so I'm going to bring it to you. What do you believe will be the fallout of what we saw with Selena Vega? Oh, and by the way, blessings and quick recovery to Gilbert, former multi-time guest of the Wrestle Talk podcast. I don't know if you knew this, Joe, but our buddy Gilbert ended up in the hospital. I believe he had a heart attack. I found out about it through Ellsworth. Yeah, I found out about it through Ellsworth, who is a big supporter and friend of Gilbert. So shout out to Dwayne Gill from your boys over here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. You want to say anything nice about Gilbert, bro? You know we love that dude.
Dude, Gilbert is a amazing, awesome guy. I saw him at a show that I did. I think it was not last year, but the year before, and he remembered us, and he was as nice as could be. The dude is absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that he made a full recovery, and he's doing a lot better. I was really, really glad about that. Like, 2020's been a terrible year, and I'm glad that we didn't lose Gilbert.
Yeah, dude, he's definitely bouncing back. and we still wish that he can hurry up and get back to 100% because it's been a little while since we sat down with him. He pops into the live stream every once in a while, but man, it'd be great to have him back on as a guest. So let me jump from that to what I was saying. So, do you think we're gonna see more of the same, bro? You think we're gonna see more people taking a stand? Because she finally broke her silence on Instagram about a week ago, and it sounded like the majority of the issues um, went down to or came down to her inability or them restricting her from being able to make money on the side on like Twitch stream or other third party sites. WWE limited their ability and continues to limit superstars' ability to use things like that to make money on their own using their character names. Okay? So she has decided to kind of go out on her own after being released, and she's been very vocal. And she even made some comments about, maybe the WWE talent should unionize. We've even heard Andrew Yang, presidential candidate in the 2020 election, take shots at the WWE and their practices, right? And how they have these independent contractors that aren't really independent contractors, right? So I find it interesting that even somebody like Andrew Yang is taking shots. Now you see somebody who I think for the most part fans really loved in Selena Vega taking her shots after leaving WWE. Do you think that this is something that could snowball and that the face of the talent in WWE, not the faces, but in general, the face of the talent could be different 5 or even 10 years down the road, Joe? Do you think that this becomes something, and is it something that they should worry about?
Here's the whole thing. I totally understand Selena Vega not wanting to leave Twitch. She was making more money on Twitch than she was in the WWE. In Twitch, you get like it costs like $5 to subscribe. Twitch gets 2 for every subscriber. She gets 3. She has like over 14,000 subscribers a month. That's $14,000. That's 14,000 subscribers times 3. So that means, if I'm doing my math correctly, 14,000 times 3. That's $42,000 a month. That's just a month. There's
no way they're paying her that. There's no way they're paying her that in monthly. No way. She'd be making $500,000 a year at WWE. Does anybody believe that she's making $500,000 a year at WWE? I don't. Now the question though, Joe, but wait. Well, here's the question though. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And here's what I mean by that. Would she have 14,000 followers, paid subscribers on her Twitch if she hadn't gone to WWE? Because this reminds me of a conversation. That is a good point. And I'll tell you why I know it is. Because it reminds me of a conversation that I had with Drake Lee a couple of weeks ago, where I brought up an interview with John Cena and Howard Stern from like 2006 or 2007, where Howard Stern was like, yo, like, you don't have a problem with this dude owning your name? Like, the company, because John Cena's real name is John Cena. Some people know that, some people don't. That's his government name. That's the name that he was born with. WWE owns the rights to that name. And Howard Stern straight up asked John Cena, like, yo, are you cool with them owning your stuff? And this is what I told Drake. I said, look, John Cena's answer I think made a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I'm cool with them owning the rights to my name, because my name wouldn't be worth shit if I wasn't with WWE. Because John Cena didn't mean anything when I was parking cars in southern Boston, Massachusetts. So in my associating myself with WWE, it's opened up so many opportunities. It's put me in a completely different stratosphere financially. Why would I not be willing to give that up and put it in the hands of people that have done so much good for me? Listen, right? I know not everybody's going to feel that way. It really is on a case-by-case basis, but I think that's something that needs to be considered. But, geez Louise, $42,000 a month? I can understand her gripe, bro. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
that's not even coming into account the money gifts that she gets from her subscribers as well. But also, I think what it had to do with it was she didn't want to give up her Twitch, and she started a OnlyFans account. Now, if you know what OnlyFans account is, you know that an OnlyFans account is something that you subscribe to so you can exclusively see that person's content. You can't see that content unless you subscribe to that person. And I think that her subscription is like $20 a month. The problem is that OnlyFans has gotten a big thing on pornography, because a lot of 99.99% of the stuff that's on OnlyFans is pornography. So that probably didn't sit very right with the WWE either. Even though she's not posting any new pictures, all of her pictures apparently are like pictures of her in like swimsuits and cosplays. But the fact that OnlyFans is considered a porn site and most of the stuff is porn, that probably didn't come out so well either with management of the WWE.
Oh my gosh, bro, you're so right. Maybe that didn't sit well with them, which is the same reason that they won't put China in the Hall of Fame. I mean, what the hell, bro? Talk about bullshit. Oh my gosh. Well, listen, Jonesy, I hate to do this to you, but we are going to pull the plug on tonight's show because we're going to try our very, very best to reschedule the 2 interviews that we had set for tonight for tomorrow night. I'm going to try to make myself available. I would love to do it with you, Joe. I feel like we're getting ripped off here a little bit, but it's okay. Technical difficulties are a part of doing live radio. And guess what? The fans win. They get to see us tonight, and they get to see us tomorrow night for part 2 of episode 322 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. So I want you guys to tune back in tomorrow right here at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Jonesy will do the shoot and shout with Ken, and we'll do the shoot and shout with Ken, and then we'll do the game show challenge with Nightmare. So we're going to have a great time, schedules permitting. Be on the lookout for more information on our social media platforms. For tonight, guys, it was Nightmare Jones, the Night Owl, back together once again, the old band playing the old jig. Dude, it felt great, and if everything works out, bro, we'll be right back here tomorrow at the Wrestle Talk podcast with not only Joe and Renee, with Jeremy Carp, the maestro, with, oh gosh, what's that ridiculous nickname he gave himself, Joe? What is it? The Thoroughbred of Lust, Drake Lee, and the rest of the gang. Again, mega shout out to all of our beautiful sponsors. We love you guys. For those that are watching, tune back in tomorrow. We'll be here, hopefully doing the show with our 2 amazing guests. We've gone up against NXT and AEW before, and we ain't never scared. So don't worry, we'll be here, and maybe you can have us on your phone while you're watching the show on TV. One way or another, the Wrestle Talk podcast aims to please. We apologize for the technical issues, and we promise that tomorrow things will be a lot better. Hopefully you enjoyed this shortened edition of the Wrestle Talk podcast this evening. Joe, like I said, it's been so much fun to be back on the air with you, and hopefully we can try to finish this thing off strong tomorrow night.
Absolutely, sir. Let's do it.
JP, hit me with something new, baby, as we sign off for part 1 of episode 322 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. We'll catch you guys very, very soon. Grace and peace. Good night.
Peace.
Peace.
You're shine on the track, boy. I'm just coolin' with my gang name. Put me at a Mary Jane. Take it to the bang bang. Ask me tomorrow, tell you the same thing.
So sorry, guys. Totally out of our control. We're going to make it up to you, though. Hopefully you guys can hear us good, see us good. We're going to keep improving for you guys. WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Get you a mug, damn it. Right in time for Christmas. Customized. You heard?
But don't you touch my chips and cheese because it's not Joe's. And now I got lettuce, so I got tacos. So now I got more green than tomatoes, so I got your chopsticks. Yeah, I mean your chopsticks. Got her legs in the air, like to make the chopsticks. I'll even eat an Asian bride, so I need some chopsticks. Everybody gon' say it's rockin' when I drop this. Oh, I'm riding with like 4 bitches, and then I leave the club and probably have more.